Intro, music, singing, intro. Okay.
Main screen. Justin, go ahead.
Hey everybody, this is the ALCast. My name is Justin.
My name's Nathan.
Chris.
And I'm Allan.
Very good, everybody. I'm glad we got through that this week. So the topic this week. So everybody here is a millennial, right? So we've all grown up alongside the internet. We've seen it grow from a passing fad with bullshit GeoCity websites to the major economic engine of the world. Through all that change we've seen, is it getting better or is it getting worse?
The internet or the world?
The internet.
It was getting better until 2012, and then it started getting worse.
I kind of agree. I kind of actually agree. So, like, there's a broad range of topics we can go through.
Sure.
I think the first stop we can look at is infrastructure. So, like, the state of Ethernet or wired connections versus, like, the state of, like, wireless connections. Does anybody have any, like, general thoughts?
I have a general thought. So there's people out there now that instead of saying internet, they say Wi-Fi as if they're synonyms. It's like,
those people are fuck. I don't know if I can say it on Twitch anymore.
Well,
it's like, do you have
those
Wi-Fi?
people-
We've got to get some Wi-Fi. Like,
I believe if you're in South America, if you don't call it Wi-Fi, they look at you funny, as if like
Really?
you're backwards. Yeah, I could be wrong. But,
Really? Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
But the point is that they don't know what Ethernet cables are, and if you tried to offer them an Ethernet cable, they would not know what the hell you're doing. They're like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
artifact?"
Oh, okay. I have a way to put it. Those people just think differently.
Okay.
In terms of infrastructure, I would say most everywhere is probably infinitely better than it was. 4
It's like
years ago.
calling every video game console a Nintendo. Right? Like calling the internet Wi-Fi, it's like calling everything Nintendo.
Yeah, kind of.
It's the same kind of
agree with that. Yeah, for sure. Like, it seems like wired connections have more or less kind of stagnated. Like, the speeds you get in 2015 are probably close to the speeds you get now. There hasn't been any, like, big expansion in terms of, like, Wi-Fi. Like, I remember when, like, Google Fiber, like, hit the ground, and we were all mega hyped because, like, everybody was going to get fucking gigabit fiber connections, and that shit would have been fucking sick. But it doesn't seem like that's panned out, right? Like, for the most part, people have, like, cable connections that are faster, for sure, but not, like, leaps and bounds faster.
Honestly, I would rather have a stable 100 megabit per second connection than like an unstable 2 gigabit per second connection.
Well,
Really?
when you get to like the 1 gig fiber connections, it's fairly stable. The reason that like cable is unstable is because the load of your local pod, like your local neighborhood, will fuck with your bandwidth. But fiber is relatively stable because you just plug the fiber into the thing and you just get your fiber. But the copper and the cable, like your neighbors can effectively mess up with your bandwidth.
And that's one thing that'll fuck it up. But my understanding is the main thing that would cause the services to be unstable is just like people that are running the service just breaking stuff. So it's like whichever server does that the least.
I mean
I don't know.
that's a fair point, but
There's also like I know here especially that during days when it's been hotter or days when there have been like storms and stuff, you're definitely going to see that kind of service interruption. I don't think that has anything to do with the people themselves having problems. Like,
Yeah,
you can't
for
account
sure.
for nature.
Like, it almost feels more brittle to me. Like, maybe I'm just like, for all of these subjects, I might just be booming like the whole time. I might just be a boomer now, and I don't understand what it's
I
like
think you
to
are.
be a young kid. I don't know, dude, but it just seems like shit just breaks more often.
well, hold on. When you say infrastructure, do you mean like the physical cables and stuff? Do you mean the bandwidth? Do you mean like the 5G and the
It's kind of
4G?
open ended, like anything.
Because
Really?
if you're talking about like speeds and bandwidth, like I can get 2.5 gigs from Comcast for like, I don't know, $150 a month.
Can you really?
I think so. It's no more
Jesus
than
Christ.
it's no more than 200, but I think it's at least like 120, 150. I don't remember.
My internet actually breaks fairly often.
FiOS,
I mean-
if I get FiOS from Verizon, it's like $90 for gigabit, which is like 900 up and down.
Yeah, I mean that's like the introductory rate. Like
No, it's
I have
not. It's
I have fiber.
It's like
for-
for 2 years, at least.
Yeah, I guess I've had it for 2 years now because I pay $115. But either way, like I'm pretty glad I have Verizon gigabit fiber accessible to me. I guess that is quite a bit better than it used to be. I don't know.
For sure, it's better. Like you can get. So we have Google Fiber here, 2 gig for $100 a month.
Jesus Christ, that is way better. All right.
Yeah, 1 gig for $70 a month. That's crazy. I think the more, I don't know, internet is now cheaper than ever to get. Like the transmission of data over wires and wireless communication is easier than ever, just because of like the increases in technology, the like leaps and bounds that we've gone through over the past 20 years.
Okay. Well, sick. All right. So I guess
I've got
our connections are probably better.
everybody going around. I've got 200 megabits per second for $30 a month.
Jesus Christ, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Okay. So it's,
Star-
all right, it's better.
Starry.
It's better.
Are you
Straight
saying
up,
Jesus
it's better.
Christ because it's a good thing or a bad thing?
That's good. $30 for like 200 megs.
There's also, I was just looking at this the other day. There are a lot of like programs and stuff that are being put in place for low income housing and like using it to essentially turn internet into something that is like not a commodity anymore, but like a right, giving it to or providing it to people with like who can't actually afford it, because it's cheaper than ever.
I mean, when Google Fiber first came out, that was one of their tiers. It was like I think it was like 15 down, 5 up, and it was free, but you had to pay for the install. The install was like $300 or $500, and they let you pay monthly until you paid it off, and then you just get free internet.
I think it's definitely the kind of thing that should just be a public domain kind of thing that city government would do. But I think we've got like a gap to close just because city governments don't know how to do that. But it's like exactly the kind of thing that they should be running, just like the sidewalks and the pipes and stuff. Like
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely municipal internet companies. Like I remember when I lived in Louisiana, I think both Lake Charles and Lafayette had their own municipal internet that was like gigabit speeds in like 2010, and that was sick. Like, holy shit, good for them. But I guess things have improved since then. So that's great.
my sense of it is like the big companies will just really lobby as hard as they can to prevent something like that from happening. And so that's why I'm been sticking with the ISP that I have, because they're just not a big one. It's Starry. It's like this one that they install like building by building. So this is like a condo building, and they'll put like a microwave antenna on the roof and then wire that building to use that microwave antenna to like go to their ground station. So on
wait.
the building.
You have Starlink?
Starry. Not Starlink.
Starry. Okay.
Star. So they use it. Actually, is kind of similar in some ways. They use the same kind of modem that Starlink does. It's these new, as Chris was saying, it's a new wireless technology. It's like these new microwave, like high bandwidth modems. But like they'll, instead of having a satellite, they'll just put a bunch of antennas on top of like a really tall building that has line of sight to a bunch of other buildings. And then they'll go building by building and they'll like wire them. They'll put a receiver on each one and then like sell the internet just to that building. Does that make sense?
So do you actually have satellite internet? Is that what you're? Okay, it's not satellite.
It's wireless, but it's point-to-point wireless. So the company has like a station on a tall building nearby, and then there's a point-to-point wireless between that station and this building. So they don't build any wires out to any of the buildings they service. They do a bunch of point-to-point links. They hook them all up to a central hub.
Interesting.
Is your latency fucked?
No, it's good. Yeah, it's good.
good.
I mean, so it's probably better than wires actually. It's like speed of light to that station.
Yeah, but like even like Wi-Fi in my house to my router, like has,
There's still travel time.
Yeah, I still have like 2 packet drops, like just like 100 megs, 100 ms, like just randomly. Like,
well,
that definitely not as consistent as a fucking wire.
Yeah, but that's dropping packets just because like The packets that get through, they're getting through fast.
Yeah. I'm talking about the packets that get dropped. Those fucking suck.
Yeah, but this is actually like two. It's like two different antennas like pointed right at each other, right? So it's like with the Wi-Fi, like you're always moving the antenna around or whatever, or like you haven't precisely solved like where the broadcasting antenna is, where the receiving antenna is. They're not lined up. Like this is like that. Have you ever seen one of those things where it's like two big cups across the field and you can like talk into them and hear on the other side? It's like that. They like point these dishes like right at each other like that.
But I thought that was that they go underground, and it's all one big tube, and that's why you can.
No, it just reflects. It just reflects off the.
Yeah, I think they had like a Linus Tech Tip video on this particular subject. Like it was literally like they took two fucking satellite dishes and they pointed them at each other, and it was like 2 gigabits per second or something.
Yeah, 2.5.
Right, yeah. It was like a mile across town or something. But like it was really good. Like my concern about it would just be like drop packets. Like do you still game? I don't even know if you do.
I haven't that much. Like the games that I've been playing haven't really been online. I played this game called Patrick's Parabox. I played some FF7 remake.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I think also right now internet or game streaming, like streaming over an internet connection to base station is even working like most of the time. Even with lost packets like due to Wi-Fi, it's still there's still enough packets getting through to complete the picture that the ones that you're losing aren't like vital enough. I think that's kind of it. Is like you just fire hose it so that everything just kind of gets through, and anything that does get lost isn't vital enough to create any issues in the upstream.
Yeah, possibly. Like you might drop a frame here or there, but hopefully that's not up to like fuck with your shit.
Yeah, you're dropping if you're doing 30, like even 30 frames per second with most things. That's still super, like it's noticeable for most people, I think. But
yeah, I mean, 30 frames per second is probably pretty good experience, but 60 frames or up is probably less good. Maybe.
Guess what my latency is. Test.
Like latency to who?
The Washington speed test default server.
Oh, okay. It's probably like 10 ms.
Okay, that's right. How do you guess that? I thought you were gonna say like 30.
I don't know. I just know things sometimes.
Okay. That's good though. And if there's like a bunch of drop packets, so it wouldn't be that, right?
I have approximate knowledge of many things. Okay, that's a pretty good segue into how do we feel about wireless internet, like fucking phones and shit. Like we've recently had a 5G rollout that's still in progress. What are people's thoughts on that?
I don't have 5G.
Do you really not? What the fuck?
is it a phone thing or is it an area thing?
I mean, phone. It's like some of both, right?
No, Allan's problem specifically.
Oh, okay, sure.
It's all about the plans, right? Because it's like, isn't it hard to get a plan that actually doesn't throttle data? Like, isn't that? I think that's the problem with it.
I don't know. I still have T-Mobile. I have unlimited. I'm sure they throttle it at some point, but I don't know when it is because like I only use like 5 gigs.
I have Fi. I think they throttle after 25 gigs.
That makes sense.
Maybe more.
They
2 people on my plan.
They just recently implemented the thing where you don't pay for any additional data over 6 gigs until you get to like 25.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying some cloud gaming and I'm seeing if it's actually 30 FPS or 60.
Yeah, I switched to their unlimited plan. So I don't remember. So I pay for my mom and me, or my mom and I. I'm not whichever one. And it was like we were using a lot of data. I was just like, it just makes more sense to get unlimited. So I got unlimited, and it looks like it's 35 gigs free, or 35 gigs, and then they start slowing it. They slow you to 256 kps.
256? Jesus.
I think I've got access to a company cell phone that has like an unthrottled like Wi-Fi bridge thing. I think that's how that works, but I haven't really super tried to test the limits there, but that's what it seems like.
Actually, no. So the plan I have is 50 gigs free, or 50 gigs free, and they're unlimited. Then 256. Jesus Christ.
So when you hit 50 gigs in your family plan is when it starts throttling down to 256.
Right.
Interesting. How many months have you hit that? How often have you hit that?
Never.
Never.
Okay.
I'm all like I have. This might change if I stop getting if I stop using Xfinity, but I'm always either on my Wi-Fi, on the fucking cell network, or on Xfinity Wi-Fi, like just picking up someone's thing.
Yeah.
And if I'm on Xfinity Wi-Fi, I just turn on VPN, and it's just easy peasy. The most data I've ever used in a month is maybe like 20 gigs, 25 gigs. And that's just probably like a few very isolated days of, I don't know, just like streaming shit all day.
Yeah,
The
like
Xfinity Wi-Fi thing does seem like a good idea.
Yeah, I genuinely agree with that.
iOS has it too.
Yeah, like Google Fi was kind of a similar concept, right? Like they had a bunch of Google Fi stations where they just broadcast Wi-Fi, and then you would just pick up on that rather than like pick up cell stations.
That was one of their things. They're just like, yeah, we're gonna work with a bunch of partners to get like Google Fi stations everywhere. I was like, okay, that's actually a pretty smart idea, and it still kind of does it every now and then because there's like, but there's so few and far between. So what happens is, I think it's usually at a Starbucks, you'll walk in, and then if your Wi-Fi is on and you're not connected to a network, it'll be like connecting to Google VPN, and it connects you to like a VPN, and then it puts you on the Wi-Fi.
Interesting.
But
Yeah.
that hasn't happened to me in a long time.
I know this was a concern a while back. I don't know if it's a concern with like current Wi-Fi tech, but is there a concern about like the overabundance of it? Don't Wi-Fi signals start to break down the more of them there are in the same location?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, there's like an amount of bandwidth that's available, right? Like, and if people chew through that bandwidth, like your speeds go down.
But only if they're connected to the same, if they're pulling the bandwidth from the same location, though, right?
Right. Yeah. I feel like I'm starting to hit that way more. Like there are numerous situations where I have 5 bars on my fucking 5G, yet my shit is like substantially worse than it was on 4G ever.
Yeah.
Is anyone else experiencing that? Like, is that just me?
I do experience just sometimes like random things don't work, but I always blamed like somebody's microwave.
Microwave. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's also true. That's also a weird thing with Wi-Fi is it's just like random other interference from other electronics.
Yeah, for sure. Like I used to be a school IT guy, and there was like one chunk of the school where we like Wi-Fi would just go out like at a random like at one particular time during midday. And like we bought a fucking spectrometer to figure out what the fuck was going on, and like we just got this like big ass signal coming from the lunchroom, not even the lunchroom, it was the fucking teacher's lounge, like around noonish, and eventually we tracked it down to a fucking microwave that was just unshielded as fuck.
Yeah, and just like ruining
the Wi-Fi, just fucking nuking it every day for like a few minutes, like at a time.
Unshielded Wi-Fi is probably nuking more than the Wi-Fi. It's probably nuking like the teachers.
Yeah, I guess so. Getting them all hot and bothered, yeah.
Well, I think in terms of the 5G, I remember reading a little bit about 5G when it was first coming out, and like its use cases. And don't quote me on it, but like 4G had a pretty long wavelength, so it was good in like cities and stuff to penetrate like through the buildings and concrete. But 5G was like much shorter and much burstier. So 5G was getting like fucked up by like concrete and hitting other buildings and stuff.
Yeah,
So
the range is definitely substantially worse than 4G.
So I think you must be hitting that where you're getting 5G, but it's like bouncing off too much stuff. Like
maybe,
stuff.
but like I would expect the fucking bars that I see to get lower if that was the case. But maybe 5G is just hacking that shit and just saying nope, fuck that.
So does anybody know the actual like the specifics of why we like what the difference is between 5G and 4G?
Okay, yeah. So like 5G as compared to 4G, it uses a shorter wavelength of signal, and that shorter wavelength is more susceptible to degrading over range and through walls and stuff. Like it's just like physically, like it's harder to transmit. That's the same case with like Wi-Fi as well. Like if you ever have tried to use a 2.4 gigahertz network versus a 5 gigahertz network, you'll see the same kind of thing. Like you might be able to reach it on one side of the house with your 2.4 gigahertz network, but not your 5 gigahertz network.
Yeah.
Like 5G is very similar in that respect, where it's shorter wavelength, so it's harder to transmit.
And to kind of build on that a little bit, like it's actually getting to the point where they're just running out of the like radio frequency domain, and like the next thing is actually visible light, or the next thing's infrared, and then the next thing from there is visible light. And then like, you know, we all know that light just doesn't go through shit. And so it's like those wavelengths like just don't go through things.
They don't penetrate.
Yeah, for sure.
But then like if you get past that and you start going to X-rays, and it does start penetrating stuff again, but then it's actually just like blowing through it. It's like kind of like a whole different thing.
Yeah, I don't know if we ever want to start transmitting X-rays. I think that seems bad.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Nah,
I don't know.
Just launch them.
Is that ionizing radiation? I don't even know anymore.
It is, yeah.
So
No, it
what's
is.
what's the so then I guess, is there a cap on like wireless cell phone speeds then?
Sort of like
Yeah,
so.
yeah, good.
So that's managed by the not the FTC. FEC. There's some fucking government agency that regulates what EM spectrums that you can transmit over. Some are reserved for like radio broadcast towers. Some are reserved for fucking
Military, probably.
military and or air traffic control or whatever. I think recently some of the radio towers had to sell back some of their spectrum back to the FTC, and that got sold back to Wi-Fi broadcasting, which gave us Wi-Fi 6E. So now Wi-Fi can transmit over 6 gigahertz now. But you know, I think that's still in development and like hasn't really hit the mainstream or anything. But as far as radio towers for cell phones, I think they got some more of that spectrum, which enabled 5G in the first place. But you know, there's only so much that we can use and reallocate over time. Yeah.
And the physics of it does matter, because I think the way it works, it's like the longer wavelengths, the waves are gonna be oscillating slower, and the physics of that works out such that you just can't encode as much data when the radio waves are oscillating slower. So it's like the higher frequency stuff, it's like higher data rate too. And then if you want to keep on increasing the data rate, at some point you have to get up to optical stuff, because the optical stuff is just higher frequency than all the radio waves. It's like if you take a radio wave and you keep on increasing the frequency, eventually you're going to get optical. It's all the same thing, just different frequency, basically.
Yeah, but if you get up to optical, you can start seeing your fucking cell phones work. Like,
yeah, and they'd have to target each other. Then it'd have to be like really high tech. They'd have to be like shooting like lasers at each other.
So what's our radio wave class right now for cell phones? Very high frequency.
So the funny thing about that is very high frequency harkens back to like 60 or 50 or 60 years, and very high frequency is actually some of the lowest frequency signals that people even work with anymore. That's like because they kept on adding bands on top of that one. So now like VHF is actually some of the lowest frequency stuff that anybody even works with anymore. And then you get to like, I think that like the high data rate part of the radio is the X band. Mm-hmm. And the X band modems are the ones that primarily I'd guess most of the Starlink stuff are probably doing X band. And there's another band above that now called KA band. I think that's higher frequency than X band.
Interesting. So it looks like
that's like the next thing.
it looks like we're on extremely high frequency for 5G, which is a 30 gigahertz frequency with a 1
Yeah,
centimeter wavelength.
it's like fucking 24 gigahertz to 47 gigahertz. For reference, like routers probably use 5 gigahertz.
Oh, Starlink does use Ka-band, looks like.
Yeah, so I mean, the technology is kind of improving for actually transmitting the wireless signals, but like I just wish the actual like backbone to that actually supported those kind of speeds, because it seems like it doesn't. Like if I have 5 bars, I have a good connection to my fucking provider, and I still can't move fucking YouTube higher than 144p. That seems bad.
Yeah.
That seems like a step back.
But I mean, I think about it in like the areas that you're in where that would be happening before 5G, you would have had nothing. You would have had no ability to.
I would have 4G.
I don't know if that's how it worked. If they just like took the 5G and just put it over where all the 4G exists, like there's still like a spectrum. Like that's why you can't get connection in certain areas, because it's like the limits of where those radio towers or those cells towers can reach. And in increasing, or like in spreading out the infrastructure in the addition of 5G, I'm sure they filled in a lot of the gaps that would have also been there too.
Like possibly for 5G, you need way more radios than you did for 4G or even 3G.
Yeah.
And I imagine they would allocate that to populated areas first, which means probably like people who already had reception. I can't imagine them throwing 5G out to Jonesboro, Arkansas or something.
Sure.
Where fucking nobody lives, because that just seems like a wasted investment.
Well,
I definitely think it'll start in populated areas, but in those populated areas, you're still sharing with other people. Like the connection that you have in one specific area could be shared with, I don't know, a fucking apartment complex that has a bunch of people that are all using that same bandwidth.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, my bandwidth is getting sucked down by a bunch of people in a fucking apartment building.
Then they needed to put more cell towers. They need to put more
they
cell
need to
stations
fucking
there.
do more shit. Not even more cell towers. Like, because my reception's fine. Again, they just need more fucking internet to the cell towers. They need more bandwidth.
To be honest, like I was never completely sold on 5G even being a good idea, because it was just it like doesn't go through things, and I was like, okay, so you can't do that, and they're like, no, like you just put them everywhere, and I was like, okay, good luck.
Like Jesus Christ.
I mean, it's good to have that increased spectrum. It's good to have the ability to pull that much data down. Well, I don't know if good is the right word, but it's convenient to be able to pull that much data down, especially.
Absolutely. In theory, like at 3 a.m. when nobody else is on it, it's fucking great. It's just like during like 5 o'clock, it's just like fucking everybody's on their cell phones, everybody's out and about, everybody's fucking drawing down their YouTube videos, and I can't fucking play Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
it fucking sucks in some ways.
Over the past like year and a half, I've been doing a lot more cloud gaming, just like either cloud gaming on my PC through desktop or cloud gaming on my phone, and there's been huge advancements there, like huge leaps in what you're able to stream, even at like higher resolutions and higher frame rates too. I don't know if it's there for cell Wi-Fi yet, like for cell internet yet. Well, it just seems like a whole different beast because of how much it's shared with other people in a specific area. And so like populated areas would have more bandwidth, but then also more people.
Right, yeah. Like it's sort of the rich getting richer, but also like there's way more fucking rich people. Like I don't know.
Well, it's the two things, right? One is the actual like throughput bandwidth, and the other is just like the coverage. Like a big city needs like a net of 5G, and right now they have like plots of 5G, right? That's the issue.
I just remember one of the first things they wired was like the baseball stadium, and there was this big news like, oh, the baseball stadium has 5G. And I was like, oh, cool. So they figured out how to do that. And they're like, yeah, it's over there. You have to stand over there. That's where the 5G is. Like just one, just like
right. There's like one puddle you can stand in.
Yeah,
right?
that's like
5G.
that's just poor planning, my dude.
Yeah, that's the 5G spot, and like I don't even know if you can see the game from there or something.
I don't know if it's that bad. If it's bad to the point where like every single telephone pole is also going to have a 5G base station.
I mean, it's actually pretty close. Like the way it works, like with like millimeter wave technology or whatever, like you need a shitload of cell phone towers. Like if you peppered like a whole city with Wi-Fi, you would need a similar number of like 5G towers.
So it sounds like the stuff we're sending just gets bigger and bigger, and so it won't penetrate through most things, and so we have to have things that are like closer together. It's just physics? Like we're just physics fucked?
Yeah,
like
you can't count. Yep, you just need more things. You just need more fucking.
And we just need to learn how to bend the physics better.
Yeah, I guess.
X-rays.
We need
That's the way.
Yeah, X-rays.
Blast through.
Gamma rays. Fuck that.
How are we
shit.
ever going to get to a point where we can send a person?
I can watch my fucking YouTube video.
Yeah, how are we going to have teleporter technology if we can't even do 5G?
Yeah, dude, I don't know.
Squeeze a whole person through those.
Would like
Everybody just becomes like a walking mass of tumors, but like they can all stream in like 16G.
Yeah, just put it right in my fucking brain. I don't care. Cut the shit out. I'll be one of those monks from Star Wars. Put my brain in a jar.
Jesus Christ.
Would having like one super tower per city, like just the tallest thing in any city, and it's just like littered with 5G things like at the very top, so it's over all the buildings and like shoots over them and down. Would that help?
No, there's a range to it. Like even if you had one giant tower that was like fucking clusterfucked with fucking 5G radios, it wouldn't matter because they just can't. Like you can't get through the air without fucking dropping packets.
Yeah, if the reception reached the ground, you'd get like amazing reception around that tower.
Yeah,
you have like a branch coming down from the tower, hanging over everybody's house. Yes.
Little Wi-Fi branches. So Nate, 20 years from now, when we discover how to send data over X-ray wave, and we call it XG, are you going to be one of those people who's outside yelling and saying you can't do this because it's going to give us all cancer?
Yes. The science will support it at that point. Like I'll have my. So one of me a tinfoil hat. I'll try to get some lead.
Maybe what if they fucking filtered the X-rays so they're safe? What then?
Clean X-ray transmission. Clean X-ray.
Purified X-ray
Works even better in clean coal.
I
You
just
don't have to work
ask for
the walls because it just blasts itself right through them.
So if the targeting system works properly, it's perfectly safe. So disregard what happened to like Joe. Like,
look, Joe is in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Shouldn't have done that.
but so even the current generation of like microwaves, so apparently they're not completely safe at high. So the discovery that you could even use a microwave to heat stuff, it actually came because they were trying to use it for radar. So they set up this big antenna, this big microwave antenna that was going to be this new kind of radar to use. And you had this engineer that like walked in front of it and didn't know it was on, which since people have learned is very bad to do. But like he had a candy bar in his pocket and then it melted.
Jesus
Christ. And he was like, oh, like, how about that? And then, and that's when they realized that they could use them to heat food. But it was just this like accident.
They used it on popcorn kernels.
Were you talking about microwaves?
Microwaves.
Yeah. I thought that we got microwaves from like a crashed alien ship, and we figured out how to like reverse engineer the microwave from the alien ship.
5G. That's how we got 5G.
It was just a progression from like low frequency radar stuff, and then they got to that, and they realized it started heating up water, and then oh gosh, like we can use this for microwave.
Can you imagine how horrifying that is to have a fucking chocolate bar melted in your fucking pocket? Like,
how do you not feel it?
Yeah, right. It's gotta be cooking this fucking cum in your balls, right? like it's just solid like a big fucking egg or something.
That's actually the next thing I was going to get to.
Right?
So a lot of these guys that were working on these systems, they started having two specific kinds of problems. They all started going blind, and they all started being infertile.
Oh my god!
And the reason why is that if you look at the frequency, the size of the wavelength, it just resonates in like a space like just about that big, right? And it was just fucking with everybody's eyes and their balls. That's what was happening. Yeah, so that.
And
that's
now
not
look,
good.
there's a microwave in every home,
Um,
and nobody's going blind from them or getting
Well,
their-
They're shielded as fuck. Like,
the microwaves are actually dangerous. Like, the shielding is there for a reason. Don't take them apart. Like, they're actually pretty dangerous. And yeah, and people learn
and
that like,
tasty kids.
even though it is non-ionizing radiation, but like you put enough of it out and like, I don't know, you actually it resonates and you can actually get like messed with or cooked or
yeah,
something.
it'll cook
like-
your fucking eyeballs. Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the invention of fire. Hey, look, we can use this to light stuff up. Hey, look, we can use this to cook food. Hey, look, we can use this to burn people.
Yeah, and I don't think like if it was ionizing radiation, I think you actually would get like eyeball cancer. I think people were getting like other kinds of eye problems. I don't think it was just like, oh, the particle hit your DNA and fucked it up. Now you have cancer. I think it was just like an accumulation of like less serious things, but like it still added up. Something like that.
Yeah. All right. So it sounds like wireless communication is kind of mixed. Like some good, some bad, right? Yeah. All right.
mean-
How do we feel? Sorry. Go on.
In either a decently sized house or a house like with like concrete and stuff, even local Wi-Fi, you have to switch to what's it called, like a node system.
Yeah, you got to do mesh.
Mesh.
Yeah, I have a mesh here. Eero, I think it's called EERO. It's just like an additional Wi-Fi base station. It's fucking dope. I love it. The bandwidth that it kicks out is like crazy fucking good.
But yeah, man, wireless. Wireless has a lot of limitations. Super good. Like, who doesn't want to have shit like going on in their bed?
Maybe
or their bathroom?
maybe that's the answer to 5G. Just everybody, just make a mesh with everybody's shit. Maybe that's
Put it
what
on
you
the
have
side
to
of
do.
a house when you're building a house. Build a 5G mesh into it.
Well, just everybody's phone. And then there you go.
Oh, turn the phones into connection
Yeah.
points.
Just nationalize the cell networks and mandate it to put a fucking 5G tower in everyone's house.
Jesus Christ.
Right in your backyard. That'll go over great, especially here in America. People love it when you tell them to do things here.
I mean, people are like unironically like talking about nationalizing fucking Twitter.
You must.
Even
What does
Republicans.
that
you
even
must
mean?
have your mandatory identification 5G pony with you at all times.
Yeah, just fucking government take over Twitter, so people don't get their
First
free
Amendment
speech taken
rights.
away, right?
People are
Anyway.
fucking idiots.
All right, so wireless is kind of mixed. Probably more good than bad, but you know, kind of mixed. How do we feel about streaming media like Netflix, Hulu,
Well-
Disney Plus, etc.?
Well, hold on. One last thing before we move to this point.
Oh, sure.
And let's not forget, wireless has fucking changed the way the whole world works by quite a large margin. Streaming shit in the car, businesses being able to like use wireless at places. People aren't like bound by buildings and stuff anymore.
Yeah, remote work,
Remote work, like literal remote work.
video meetings. How fucking crazy is it that even just like 30 years ago would have been ridiculous to well, Back to the Future. When did Back to the Future go flash forward into? Is it like 2020
Something like that.
when they went into the future, and then that's when everybody had video calls?
I think the first one was like 2012.
Yeah, like I remember back in like 15 years ago, like 2006. I remember like fantasizing about being able to fucking watch my YouTube videos on my fucking cell phone, like because that's when I got my first like smartphone, I guess, sort of. And like all I could use it for was like fucking Bejeweled.
Yeah.
Like
2015 is what they went into. They went into 2015, and that's when everybody was able to start, or everybody had like video phones and shit.
right, yeah.
But yeah, man, wireless is,
2015.
I wouldn't say set us free, but it's really opened up a whole world of different stuff and different industries for people. Possibly almost as important as like the internet itself, but obviously not as important.
Yeah, for sure. Like I remember
Yeah.
back when like cell phone providers were like doing this like weird walled garden thing where like they would give you like clips from TV shows and stuff on your phone. This was like maybe like 2012 or something. And that fucking why? Like who's buying this? Yeah,
Yeah, that
I'm really
sounds
glad.
like Yeah, that sounds like some sort of like corporate like incest thing going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I'm really glad they opened that up a little more, so like I could actually just use the internet on my fucking phone.
Right.
Oh yeah. I do remember that. I remember when you could when your cell phone can only access certain sites because it was like, oh, these are the sites that were provided by the data provided for like T-Mobile or something. Like you would try to use the internet on your phone and it'd be like, here are the T-Mobile websites that you can access.
I actually kind of remember that too. It's like you open up the browser and you just have like no idea what's behind there. It's just like,
Yeah.
is it going to cost money? Is it like not going to work? Like,
It was like
Yeah,
getting
I remember
YouTube on your Switch, like way back before they had an app for it, where you would like go through the browser and then do some weird shit so that you could actually access the URL and then change the URL to whatever website you actually wanted to go to.
Yeah, I mean, it was like pulling up pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't know like if you're gonna get charged like $30 at the end of your 10 minutes.
Yeah. Man. And now we could just fucking type in the name of anything we want and just watch videos of it.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking true.
I think on the streaming thing though, I think in recent years it has. I don't know. Maybe it's controversial, but I think it's getting worse. I think there's a golden age with Netflix, and then
Yeah,
like
everything fucking used to be on Netflix. It was like, it's just on fucking Netflix. You just pay your fucking $8 or whatever the fuck it was, and you would get everything. And now I feel like we're like a hair's breadth away from just recreating cable. Like Netflix is getting fucking ads again. Like everything is
Again?
Like
It never had ads.
Okay, sorry. For the first time, Netflix is getting fucking ads.
Wait, is it confirmed?
He's
Is it
saying
confirmed they're
we're
getting
getting
ads?
ads again.
Yeah, like I think it's been confirmed, right?
Because I remember they were toying with the idea of ads, and then they were also doing the password share punishment.
What exactly were they going to do for the password share thing? Because the Netflix account I use, I think like there's at least 6 people on it.
I think they were going to either cancel your account or charge you more for sharing passwords.
I specifically pay for the ability to stream on multiple devices.
Correct. So I don't know how
So
it's going to work out.
fuck you, Netflix. I'll stream on as many devices as I want.
So one
They're all
thing,
my eyeballs.
one thing that annoys me about Netflix, even during the golden age of Netflix, is not the tiers. There was three tiers. When 4K came out, there was 3 tiers. There was the standard definition tier, which was like, I think like 480 or 720 with one screen. Then there was 1080 with 2 screens, and then 4K with 4 screens. But I don't need fucking 4 screens. I just wanted 4K with 2 screens. And I couldn't have it. So one of the good things about like almost every other streaming platform is no matter what bracket you're on, like if they offer 4K, you just get 4K. Like Disney, you get 4K. I think Disney has pretty good HDR, so you get 4K HDR on Disney Plus for the same like $7 a month.
Okay,
I think we might be getting back into that cable territory where we have to have multiple services. I think it's going to be a lot better because the problem with cable was like forced bundling. Like now you can get Hulu or ESPN or both, or if you want this show, you subscribe to Netflix, and it does suck to have to do that, to have to be subscribed to multiple platforms. But then, I mean, what's the other option? You just don't watch that media, or you start pirating it again. Like people just start pirating again.
So
right.
As Gabe Newell always said, that pirating is almost always service based, not like criminal.
Yeah, it's a service problem. It's not a access problem.
So I don't know, man. Like everything's splitting back up. I agree we're getting close to the cable time, but until someone bundles everything together and offers you a discount, I think we're not quite back at cable time. Because right now,
forces
already
you to,
getting
to
that?
take
Like-
certain things. Like you can definitely get a bundle for Disney Plus, ESPN, and Hulu, and it is cheaper. But I think there's like the cable thing is you have a base package, and no matter what, you buy cable and you get that base package, and then
Right.
all of the additional like pay-per-view stations or all the additional like premium stations are
Right.
things that you would pay additional money for.
right?
We're cutting out the base package middleman, and we're just saying, hey, if you want these premium services, you have to go to these subscription sites. I do think it sucks. It sucks that things are being cut up this much, but I don't think we're gonna. I don't know. That's just capitalism, baby. That's just how
I think
corporations work.
I think there should be like a transparent layer. I think like all the content should just be available, and there should be this layer where you have like you would maybe like fund your like media consumption thing, and then you just do like micropayments to like whatever you're watching, and then like that it would just go directly to whoever's making it.
Yeah, but then essentially you're just recreating pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Which might be worse. Like in terms of value, at least.
Well, that's just. I mean, it could be, but it just depends how much it would be, right? And I think like if that was actually funding the creation of the media directly, like that's actually. I saw somebody break this down once. Like, if you're publishing media and you're funding it with ads, the amount of money you have to get paid per eyeball to have it equal to the amount that you're getting from the advertisers is actually very, very low. Just like I think it's like less than a cent every time somebody watches an ad. That's like what you get from an advertiser for their eyeball.
Right,
So,
but isn't that already happening with Netflix? Like with Netflix, I believe is the case that every time you get a view of your product, you get money for it directly. Like, so if you're producing some really fucking banger TV show, and you're getting a view, like you're getting way more money than fucking some Adult Swim program that's like getting like 10 views.
Yeah, that makes
really?
sense. Everybody should do that.
I believe that's
Is
the
that-
case.
I thought Netflix
That
just paid you.
seems yeah, I thought Netflix just buys the property and then puts it on their service, or buys the ability
license,
to
the
put the,
license,
property,
yeah.
the license on their
I do know that they are measuring this, and
I
they're-
could be wrong.
I think that there might be different, more than one model involved at the same time or something. Because I don't know, it's like it does seem like it's a big deal. Like if like you got Squid Game, for example, right? Like that's like a big deal, you know. Like I think it is incentivized somehow, but I don't know exactly how it works either.
Oh, I have something right here. Netflix buys a show at a rate of cost of production plus 30% of production costs, but it retains most of its future licensing rights. So it's different than the way most typical license shows, which often only covers 60 to 70% of the production costs. Interesting. So they pay to license.
They pay to get it done. They pay to do it, and then they.
But-
yes.
Even in those cases, the money isn't going back to the creators. Like, this is just how publishing and production works in general, right? Is like you are paying someone to create something for you, and then you are owning the rights to distribute that thing and make the money from the distribution. So you can have a contract that sets you up and says you would like to get residuals from it or whatever. But by and large, it's just how like media in general works. Is there's usually a publishing, like a company that publishes a bunch of different kinds of media from a bunch of different studios, and then pays those studios to create that media.
Right.
Oh yeah. So Squid Game creator, it's not like Netflix paid me a bonus.
Yeah. So like the more people that watch it, it's not going to increase the amount of money you get as the creator of that show. It just increases the likelihood that Netflix will attempt to purchase from you again, because they know that they can get eyeballs from your
Right.
media. And I think that's the problem that we're seeing now with why Netflix wants to do all this dumb shit like increase subscription prices. It's mostly greed. Like it's greed.
I mean,
they're making money.
Bleeding money.
They're making money. They're making money.
I think they had a loss in the last quarter.
I think they did have a loss in the last quarter, but it was like their first loss in a decade.
Yeah. And it wasn't a loss based on the quarter previously. Because a lot of companies really obfuscate that shit to make it seem like they're not making money so they don't have to pay taxes. And then in actuality, they are making ridiculous amounts of profits for like a certain set of individuals in that company. That's like the problem with capitalism right now, right? Is that when the company starts making more money, that money doesn't get passed down to all the people working in the company. It just gets passed down to the people at the top of the company, and they decide what to do with that money. And most of the time, it's put it in their own pocket.
I mean, sort of like
It goes to the people who own capital in the company.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what
capital
capital
is.
not
The thing about Netflix having the first loss ever though is it's not as if like it's not like Netflix has been like reliably paying dividends, and maybe I'm actually wrong. Some of the tech companies actually do pay dividends, like Apple. So maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I don't think it's like Netflix has just been paying dividends this whole time, and then it's just this is like a blip. I think it's like the whole idea has been we're not going to pay dividends because we're investing to grow. We're not going to pay dividends because we're investing to grow. We're not going to pay dividends because we're investing to grow. And then like if you keep on doing that year after year after year, the reason why you're not getting dividends is because it's growing, right? So like, if it doesn't grow, then that's just really, really bad. Like, and I think Amazon still never paid a dividend, but like, they've actually have been investing to grow that whole time. So it's like it seems like it's not fashionable for these companies to actually pay.
I mean,
dividends.
I think Netflix has been investing to grow. They fucking pump out pretty high amount of original content. The problem is most of it sucks.
That also is a misnomer because it's not actually original content. It's content that Netflix is purchasing to publish.
A lot
in
of
different
that
areas,
especially like international stuff, like tons
like Stranger Things is theirs, right?
Right.
But if the business is fully developed, then what they should do is they should be like, okay, these are all the people on the planet that could possibly want Netflix. They all have it, so we're just a dividend machine now, and that's like what they're supposed to do. But nobody wants to say we crossed that line. People are going to always want to say like, oh, but there's more like people hiding under a rock that don't know about Netflix.
Exactly. And that's the greed part of it, right? There's like a certain point where a company will just hit its margin cap. Like you're just going to hit, or not margin cap, but you're going to hit your subscriber cap because the number of subscribers is a finite amount based on the amount of people in the world. And that number will keep increasing over time as we have more people. But creating a subscription service is essentially saying, like, I don't understand unless you have like 10% of the market share. If you're like hitting that 90% market share, almost everybody on the planet has Netflix or whatever. What are you trying to get more of? Where are you trying to grow? Like, what is the benefit of your growth? Are you going to be able to create content that makes me as a user who's already buying Netflix want to put more money into that service, or just continue to use that service? Like right now, the question is, do I want to continue using that service? And that's where Netflix needs to put it's like
Netflix, Project X, control.
Well, I think most subscription services need to put their money into, which is retaining users rather than getting new ones. So like, you don't want to create it and be like, hey, we're going to try to increase the amount of users we have on this platform, or seeing user growth as the only milestone.
I think that actually was a big part of why the initial valuation of Netflix was so high, because I think they were like one of the first companies to actually get value out of like some AI recommendation engine, and everybody thought that was like the coolest shit that anybody had ever done. But like, I don't know in my experience if I feel like the Netflix recommendations are like actually that good. That might just be me though, but.
Well, Netflix used to do like the star recommendations, which was awesome, and then they switched to like thumbs up, thumbs down, which was, I think, made the AI recommendation a lot more, I don't know, clunky instead of nuanced.
I don't know. Like, I think in aggregate, I think thumb up or thumb down is generally better. I think stars is too nebulous a concept for people in aggregate. Like, nobody knows like what is actually good. Like, there's some people that use 5 stars as a metric.
Name a 3-star movie right now.
Yeah, it like 5 stars is the baseline, and you can lose stars. Or there are people that are like, okay, 3 stars is where you start, and you can gain or lose stars based on that. Like, if you're really good, you get 5 stars. If you're okay, you get 3 stars. And those are completely different metrics that everybody can use.
I understand that, and that's a good point. But if on the screen it says rate this, 0 to 5 stars, 0 being bad, 3 being okay, and 5 being like good as shit, like, well, why does it matter where you start? If you start at 3 and add 2, or if you start
people
at 3
don't
and
read.
take away 2.
People don't know how to read, dude.
Well, what about the situation where you come into something and you're like, this is a 5-star movie, and then you find another movie and you're like, this is a 5-star movie,
but
it's way better than that other movie. Does that make the other movie?
Well, then the AI is supposed to go in there and figure out like why you're rating these things 5s, and then like recommend shit to you based on all that stuff.
the current system they have is thumbs up, thumbs down, and 2 thumbs up, which
It's really 2 thumbs up.
yeah.
There's
So
two thumbs?
now it's a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or if you love it, 2 thumbs up.
I think that makes sense. I think that captures like what I would want to tell them
Yeah.
about.
I
stuff
like this
anyway.
movie.
I
I, did
think
not
that
like
is much
this movie.
than a 5-star
I really
system.
like this movie.
That's probably more or less as good as the SAR system, and probably
Oh, yeah,
way,
you can
way
double thumb
better,
it.
way better than the thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah.
It's like binary +1.
Yeah,
Yeah, like fucking Steam uses thumb up, thumb down, and like there's things that are like very positive or overwhelmingly positive or like negative. Like
Yeah, Steam,
And I think that's a
Steam is
really
a
good
bad
system.
test case, but
Steam's a bad test case.
Steam is definitely a bad test case. Steam is a case where review bombing is incredibly powerful,
Oh, okay.
and I think that's bad because you don't want something's entire you don't want something's entire value to be tarnished by a momentary blip, and that's what happens in Steam. You have one patch that like fucks up a game, and then your reviews go into the shitter, and you're completely fucked. And no matter what you do, you can't pull out of that again because there's already been this huge swath of thumbs down.
Yeah,
Or
I
See,
don't think
see-
that's necessarily true because there's like the recent ratings and then like the overall ratings, and then some things are rated really shittily and then they do okay. Like No Man's Sky, it fucking took them like an extra 2 years to pull out of that thing. But I'm pretty sure that No Man's Sky current reviews are pretty good. Their overall reviews might still be bad because of the initial review bomb, but their more recent ones I think are pretty good.
Yeah, so the recent's very positive, but all reviews mostly positive.
Yeah.
And it's exactly that. They had a huge review bomb at the start of the game, and it's really hard to come out of that hole again. I think
Yeah.
that's my problem with Steam systems is that like you essentially don't leave room or like stuff like Miss Marvel. Like Miss Marvel right now is getting fucking review bombed on stuff like
Why is that?
Metacritic.
I saw
Because-
that shit and I'm like, why?
Well, there's like 2 sides of it. Like it's Muslim forward, and people hate that in
Oh.
America, and so they're review bombing the shit out of it because it's Muslim forward.
I thought it was a misogyny thing. All right.
No. Well, I mean, there is also the misogyny thing. I told you that, like, the other day, my brother asked me, or said that he was afraid that they were putting too many female characters into the Avengers because then it's all going to become all girls. So, yeah,
Okay.
there is a part of it that's misogyny.
So to be fair, I think they do a bad job of writing female characters.
I think it's really...
Okay.
Sorry. You can't say that because who is they? Like, every single one of these
Marvel writers.
showrunners write, like, they're different people.
I guess so. Okay. Okay. To be fair, I think it's a difficult problem. So, like in Captain Marvel, for example, the problem I have with Captain Marvel is that there's a female main character, and essentially she goes through no struggle. Right? She's just super powerful. Nobody can hurt her ever, and like there's no conflict essentially. She just like becomes powerful. She's super powerful. Oh, I'm really powerful. Okay, let me go be powerful. Like,
What about characters like Omni-Man and Superman and Homelander and any of the other allegories for
okay,
Superman?
so to be fair,
that
I think
existed?
Superman's bad.
Yeah,
but,
they're
like,
all. They're all
straight
I
up.
think this is the character problem writing. It's like creating a character that is too powerful to have stakes anymore. I don't think this is a woman problem.
No. I think it is a woman problem because you don't want to show a woman as weak. Like, I think it is. I think it's really difficult to show
you
that
think
because
it's
then
an
you get shown as
overcorrection
misogynist. Yeah, I think it's
to
an
try
overcorrection,
and-
straight up.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Like with Superman, his conflict is not external. Like his conflict is 100% internal. Do I be a good guy or do I be a bad guy?
Do I
'Cause
kill?
am
Or do I not kill? I don't know.
Yeah. That's his entire problem. And you can take dispute with that, but I don't think that's a woman like a misogyny problem or a misandry problem.
I mean, Omni-Man is Superman if he eventually decides to do bad stuff because he's like, all right, I'm just gonna take over this planet. I'm the general. They're my little like dogs, my little pets, my planet, mine.
I've actually never heard of Omni-Man.
Invincible.
I don't know who that
You
is.
should watch it. really
Amazon
good.
Prime, Nate. It's animated. It's pretty good. I think it's
Okay.
J.K. Simmons does the voice of Omni-Man.
Oh, is that the one where the memes come from?
Yeah, with the mustache.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
it's
the
like
neat part. You don't mean.
that's like the fighter plane meme one.
Yeah.
Look what they have to do to like.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
Omni-Man.
Yeah. There's also the like, when does it start to get good? And that's
Yeah.
the neat part. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shows that you should watch Invincible. It's fucking really
So-
good. The comic that it's based off of is really, really good, and a complete run, so you could read the entire thing.
So I've seen like about 2 minutes of, was it Miss Marvel, like that new show, the one that people were saying was Muslim forward? Was that Miss Marvel? Is that what
Miss
we're talking
Marvel,
about?
yeah.
Miss Marvel. And what's funny is like that somebody that I was watching it with got, so one impression people might have of that show is like, oh, it's like, you know, instead of having like your like normal American family, it's like putting a spotlight on this like minority group. Why are they doing that? Like, but I was watching it from someone that had the complete opposite perspective, where they had like this Muslim community, but the scene they were showing, it's like this guy didn't have a shirt on, and then she was like looking at him, and then like, and the guy was saying like that's actually disrespectful to the culture, because that's not part of like the Muslim culture to have like men and women like looking at each other like that. And like, so it was like from this guy's perspective, it was almost like the show was like attacking that culture instead of featuring that culture. Does that make sense?
Christopher, you're muted.
So that's the second point that I was going to say, is that there are other people that hate it because it is Muslim forward. There's also a big contingency of people that hate it because it doesn't align with what their ideas of Muslim is in like every aspect, because it's also a teen show. Like, it's a show about this like girl coming of age with superpowers, and that just sounds like normal teen bullshit to me. Is like a girl looking at a guy without a shirt on and getting
Right.
flustered. That's like
And
normal
that's
teen
what I
bullshit.
said. I said like this. I said this is like what this is like a very normal like American culture thing. Like that's what I thought. I didn't think that it was particularly targeting that culture. But like, it is kind of amazing if they manage to piss off like everybody though. Like, well, I wasn't pissed off, but it's just,
I heard,
problems with
that's the
that.
other thing. I heard that the show is like surprisingly well written and well acted and very like good. I really kind of want to watch it because I'm interested now, especially because it's just pissing off everybody.
Right.
Like, I kind of want to watch the show that just pisses off all these people that I kind of don't like already.
Yeah, it is both like too Muslim and not Muslim,
Muslim
enough.
enough.
on the other end. Yeah.
But it's great. It's great. I think representation matters, and even just seeing this thing, I was talking to my mom about this the other day, but it is incredibly strange that even now, like, you look back at any of the media that we consumed in the 90s, you would not see them talking positively about, like, a gay couple or a mixed race couple. It would usually be the butt of the joke, or it would just be something that is completely ignored. But now we're seeing media where like those characters are being presented in like a really respectful and really grounded way, and I think that's important.
Yeah, man. Capitalism, baby.
Capitalism, baby. Yeah, make it monetarily beneficial to be woke.
Unironically, yes, actually.
I mean,
It
why,
is.
Why else would they do a thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, why else would they do a thing in capitalism? But
It makes money.
yeah, exactly. But I hope we get to a point where we don't have to do that anymore, and we just do things because, you know,
I agree.
we want to.
Yeah, I would like it to be. I would like to go to a point where shit is just normal. Like, it's
Yeah.
not special because it's new and like different. I just like it to be fucking normal.
but how about kink?
Not for kids, please.
Yeah.
If you want to have a hentai with fucking kink in it, cool, good for you, Doug.
Kink just not
I
for
mean,
kids. Kink for
people
adult
bring-
only.
People bring kids those to the parades though.
That's
Are we going
completely
that
different. Don't even.
I don't know if I want to go there.
Someone
All right,
wearing
maybe
leather
maybe
is
for
not a
another
kink.
podcast. Maybe for different podcast. All right.
Next week's topic is kink. How far?
Yeah, you can have that for your topic, Nate. All right.
No thanks.
Can it be a slideshow where you bring in a picture and you said, "Is this kink? Is this not kink?" And then,
All right. So I think
Honestly-
we're in agreement that streaming media has gotten worse.
No,
Well-
no. Streaming media, streaming media, infinitely better than it was.
Wow.
better
okay.
than ever.
Wow.
Like-
But the breakup of things is definitely worse.
Yeah, going to different channels is bad, but the variety of media has gotten substantially better. Sure. Okay.
Honestly,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, ever since I can remember, there's always been like TV and then HBO and Showtime. That was it. It was always TV, HBO Showtime. And almost no matter what, you always had to pay extra for HBO and or Showtime. And then it became like TV, HBO Showtime, and then Netflix, and now it's like HBO Now, Showtime Go, fucking Netflix, Hulu, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think the segmentation of media is where the problem is, right? Like putting it in all these different services and requiring people to jump through all of these additional hoops just to view that media.
Yeah, I think it's a combination, right? Like on one hand, like as an introvert, like I have all this new shit that I can watch at any point that I want, and I can just enjoy the shit out of it because it's my own little fucking special niche that's amazing. On the other hand, if I want to talk to someone about that, there's like a substantially smaller chance that they will know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Hey, that is just like I would love to talk about this because this is something that I've been dealing with a lot lately, and I don't know what the solution is. I think this is just like what's happening.
Yeah,
is that more and more people are just getting more niche into things. They find the thing they like, and then they just like dive into that rabbit hole forever, but then also refuse to talk about anything else with anybody else. Like,
well, okay, I don't even think that is necessarily a problem. The problem before was like we had like 6 major stations. They showed some shit. Everybody watched that shit. And then everybody could talk about that shit. There was one pool of media that we
There
didn't
were tangible social benefits to that. For example, like Watergate, it's like the news guy came on and was like, "This is bad," and the president shouldn't do that. And everyone's like, "Oh shit,
yeah, you're right.
wow, how about that?" And like, imagine that happening today. It's like nobody.
I still think we have those touchstone cultural moments. Like,
I think Nixon would have got away with Watergate 100,000%.
Are we talking about politicians?
No, I mean, generally, yeah. I mean, like,
so.
Today Nixon would have got away with Watergate. I mean, fucking Trump is almost getting away with a legitimate coup. Like,
yeah.
If that would have happened 20 years ago,
it is crazy how much worse that was than the whole Watergate thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not even close.
Not even close.
It's not even close.
It's so much worse, and just gonna completely get away with it.
And just like imagine, like what's that Fox guy now? I'm actually forgetting his name, but like just completely like gaslighting that like the Watergate thing was fine. Like he wouldn't even have to try that hard compared to what they're doing now.
No. Yeah, I think I still think that there are those cultural moments in media. I still think there are like certain pieces of media, like the Game of Thrones thing a little while ago. Everybody watched Game of Thrones, but I think we're starting to get to that point now where more and more people are just only watching their individual interests. And maybe there's just too much media.
There's a shitload.
I don't really know if too much is a problem.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's definitely...
If you want to talk about stuff, apparently it is.
It's very fucking different. Like, I don't know if it's better or worse, honestly. I just have no idea.
It sounds to me like a problem of our society becoming less and less of a community and more individual pods.
Which segues into our next segment. A sense of community on the internet, or just in general.
I have an unrelated question.
Okay, go ahead.
What's on your finger?
It's a key puller. Key puller.
What? Oh, okay.
So, like, I remember back when we first started playing WoW, right? Everybody was on Classic. Everybody was, like, kind of bound to their own individual server. There was no, like, realm sharing or fucking sharding or whatever. Like, you knew who the fucking cool people on your server were. You knew who the stack guilds were. You knew who the fucking loot ninjas were. Like, you knew people in general, and you talked to people on the regular, like even people outside your guild. Like, you just talk to people because they were around. I don't think that's true of today, like in general.
Here's my theory. I think that all happens because you see the same person multiple times. And now playing a video game on the internet, the chances of coming across the same individual multiple times, even playing the same game, is so fucking low.
It's fucking impossible. Like,
and
I played fucking Destiny today. I can't even chat with people. There's no chat. Like, I play fucking Hearthstone. There's no chat. Like, I can't even communicate if I wanted to.
Like,
I think that's part of the problem, but that's not entirely true. Like, there were a ton of people, myself included, that were making like shitloads of friends on Xbox 360.
360 was fine.
Even
I think
then, the
360
ecosystem was smaller, dude. You were seeing the same people over and over again, right?
I don't think so. Like if you're playing Halo 2 on Xbox Live, that was like 2-3 million plus people.
All right, dog. If you're ranked 50, like there's like 5 people you can play with.
That's
Okay.
true. You were ranked fucking 50.
No, but Nate was.
Nate was
wasn't
ranked
actually.
44, I think.
Not that either.
Either way, like
47.
47.
I mean, in general, I think gaming was smaller like 10 years ago, right? But even outside of that, like there's just so many people that there's no way to have repeated unplanned interactions with anyone. It is completely fucking impossible.
So, do we need to move to a point where our society is less of a bunch of fucking nerds and people actually do make the attempt to have repeat interaction with someone?
Okay,
Am I moving too
keyword
far
in there.
forward?
Keyword in there was unplanned.
Okay, well, repeat planned interaction.
No, fuck that. Unplanned interaction is how you make friends. Like you go to school, you're gonna go to school with everyone else that same day. Like you're gonna have repeated unplanned interactions with people. Like you're not gonna talk to someone one time and be like, "Hey, buddy, you want to be my friend?" It's just not gonna happen.
Sure, yeah, you have to see the person a few times. You want to get it.
Oh, yeah.
So recently, I just moved to Austin a year ago, and right now we're getting to the point where we're actually starting to make like friends that we're seeing on more than seeing that person more than once. But yeah, it is. It's fucking hard as shit. It's hard as shit to make friends, and it's hard as shit to like get out of that sphere and just be like, hey. Do you want to do something together? Just like, do you want to try to plan a time for the two people to do a thing together? This is really fucking hard.
It gets harder as you get older too.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's why school was so much easier because you had repeated unplanned interactions with people that were just around you.
So what if games just stopped allowing their ecosystems to be so, you know what? You need to just create an algorithm that makes it so that matchmaking servers will attempt to pair people up with other people they've played with before.
I mean, I think this is a solved problem. We had
That
fucking
just
servers.
improves most people's experience than one person's just like stuck in hell.
Yeah.
I think that's like the only solution to this problem is that you just have to like create ways to force people to
Yeah, just like
see
this
the
is
same person again.
this is the pool of like 2,000 or so people that you are going to ever interact with to some degree. Like maybe
yeah.
you can meet a little bit, but generally, like you are with these 2,000 fucking people.
Just by accident, Vanilla WoW had like the ideal system. I think that's a good point.
Like they had 2,000 to 3,000 people per server, like, and you would just interact with those people repeatedly.
Yeah, it's a problem now for games. I can talk about it from the game side of things, but it's a problem now for games for retention. It's like it's really hard to get people to continuously be in one space at one time. Everybody just keeps moving from one fad to the next. So like you don't have people that are just chilling in classic WoW and just like hanging out and looking for other people on their same like server to play with. They're people that are playing classic WoW and like doing their own thing or trying to get into pickup groups because they don't, you see other people as more party members to complete a goal rather than other individuals that are also trying to complete their own goals. Yeah, maybe it's a narcissism problem. Maybe it's a problem with our society overall that people are just like completely black out that other people might have goals that are different from their own goals.
I wouldn't even put it to individual responsibility. It seems like a societal problem. Like it is generally hard to make friends if you aren't having repeated unplanned interactions with them. Like, I remember fucking, what's like a good fucking example? There was some guy that I just queued pugs with, and I queued like 3 pugs in a row. His name was Axe.
Axe?
And like, I sort of had like a loose friendship with him because like I just kept queuing with him. Like I just queued in Dungeon Finder. I found that dude. Like we kept running into each other, and that was cool as fuck. And I never saw that dude again.
I think
In what game?
Destiny.
That was WoW.
Oh,
Okay.
but I think that thing can happen in Destiny too. I've had it a few times where like Lindsay and I'll jump into a group, we'll get a random third, and if that person is like a decent person or like good or nice or just crouches in front of me for 3 seconds, I'll invite him to group, and then you just keep going through a few things with them.
You have that one chance.
Yeah,
if you don't make the best of that one chance,
then you're screwed.
Fucked. You're completely fucked. There's no coming back from that.
Yeah, it's rough. How do you fix it though?
Yeah, just
like sharded stuff. Yeah, just have an algorithm. Have an algorithm, like a virtual world where there's only 2,000 players. Everybody.
Yeah, you have your own fucking little village of internet people. These are the fucking only 2,000 people you're going to ever interact with.
And then on special occasions, they could compete with each other.
Yeah, sure. Like maybe. I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
I don't know. I agree. I think more games should start looking into that. I think it would be the next game that actually does that and creates this, like, even if it is a false sense of community, but attempts to put the same players together into the same locations, like, as much as possible. I think that's going to be the next big breakout game where everybody's playing it again. Like what we had for Warframe a little while ago and Final Fantasy 14 just recently. I think we're going to see that again, but who knows what fucking game is going to do it.
I think there's a societal problem on one side, specifically in gaming. I just think you need to make things more difficult. Like,
just more difficult.
No, it was in WoW, Draenor with the garrisons. That was like the fucking straight down, like super decline of social stuff in my perspective in WoW. Because I think that's when they added like the LFR, the garrisons. Never had to leave your garrison. Everything was there. Just go to a teleport hub if you got to go somewhere. LFR, get into random pug and leave. But before that, it was harder. You have to do summoning stones. You have to like make friends, make guilds.
Yeah, it's the player housing problem. Garrison should have been a great place for people to go and interact with other people. Like, hey, I have an open garrison. Anybody's welcome to come here and hang out, kind of thing. But nobody wants to do it. They want to be in their own space.
In vanilla, it was arguably too hard because I think people that play vanilla can maybe remember this or maybe you don't, but like you probably had the experience where you got a party together, you had 5 people in the party, and you just couldn't work out the logistics of how to actually get there, and then everybody gives up. That actually happened like at least 30% of the time.
Summoning stones fix that, but
wasn't that kind of part of the beginning of the end though? Like I wonder, like, because what you really needed was a warlock. You needed some combination of like warlocks and mages, and you didn't always have one. And weird party hopping to like.
Well, no, they're like the actual physical summoning stone. The solution to that problem is that they created a physical location that you could go and summon other party members, and it incentivizes everybody gathering around this one thing. Elden Ring just did that with their stakes for summoning. There's now like instead of people just putting their summoning symbols down anywhere in the world, they tend to congregate around a specific stake that's in the game world so that you can see all of them in one place. And I feel like summoning stones did fix that a little bit because then you create this place where people can come. And
so I associate summoning stones with a queue, but I guess you're saying they're different things. So the summoning stone came before the queue.
The queue was added on. The summoning stone originally was just a stone that you can click on and have a party member selected, and it would start to summon that party member, and then other people would click on the portal to help with the summon.
Yeah, it was literally just having a summon without a warlock.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
but then they turned it into the queue system where you would go to the stone and click on it, and you would queue up, and that was like a soft LFG thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which again I think was actually fine.
Because it's a physical location, right?
What?
Fine because it's like a physical. You're like asking people to go to a physical location to sign up for it. Why do you think it was fine?
Not even that. Like I think Dungeon Finder's fine. Like the problem is
I do not.
There's too many fucking people to pick from. Like that's what I think my problem is. It's just like there's millions of people that are going to be in the queue. I'm never going to fucking interact with any of them ever again. Like
that's not even the problem. The problem is none of them are on your server.
I mean, either way, yeah, that's still the problem, right? I'm never going to interact with them again. Like, if they were on my server and they were just hanging around right now, I'd be like, hey, dude, I fucking did a dungeon with that dude one time. Like, I think that would be fine. As long as, like, I keep seeing them. The problem is I'm never going to see them again. I'm never going to recognize that name again. Like, there's never going to be anything that stands out about that individual unless, like, I keep seeing them. Unless they do something really fucking stupid like strip an Ironforge.
Dance on the tower.
Yeah.
I mean, I generally agree. I don't know what the solution is, but I don't know. Maybe getting rid of cell phones and making things a little bit more difficult for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody just needs to go be a hunter-gatherer.
I think we just need like virtual villages.
Yeah,
Like,
a virtual village would be great.
yeah,
I'd love that.
Just like have like 2,000 people that you ever interact with online. Like you just get online, you get a real ID that you sign up with your fucking social security number, and you get thrown into a virtual village. And these are the only people
anything you ever
with.
do online is with those 2,000 people. That's tied to your social security, tied to your real ID. If I play WoW, same 2,000 people. Destiny, same 2,000
Maybe.
people.
Maybe.
That
would be cool.
All right, maybe not quite that atomized because I don't know if those 2,000 people are going to play WoW with you. Maybe if it's like maybe go a little bigger if that's the case. I don't know. I don't know exactly.
But I
what
think
the solution is.
you can break it down into individual games. Like even if you just create that sense
Yeah.
of community in a specific space.
Right.
VR.
So,
I think having like a WoW server
something that kind
is
of
probably a good example. Like you have like 2,000 to 3,000 people you interact with in a specific like context, and like you make friends that way. I think that's a pretty good place.
so
Maybe-
the way.
Go
This
ahead.
might sound kind of nerdy, but like the way like nature kind of solves these sort of organization problems is like nature does it with fractals. So like you'd have like how do I describe this? It's like I feel like there's maybe some math from that you could apply to trying to make these spaces where it's like I don't know, just imagine like a tree. It's like it's like the different leaves of the tree that could kind of be a community, but then it kind of looks like the whole tree again. It's like you try to organize it like that.
Well, I think that's what you have with like these big MMO games. Is each of the servers is essentially a branch of the tree, but together they're all World of Warcraft. You know.
Right, but then if you kind of layer on the connections like really thick, then you actually like lose that broader kind of structure, and it becomes like a giant like a web, I guess, more than a fractal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I think
Games should just be okay with having smaller groups and smaller communities, and it be okay. Like you don't have to jam every single player that's playing your game all into the one space at one time.
yeah, like I think real life kind of solves this problem to some degree. Like you go to school, you have a group of like 2,000 or so people that you ever interact with. You have repeated unplanned interactions with them.
Dude, we had fucking 30 people in my school.
Are you fucking serious? What the fuck?
In your grade or in your school?
In my grade.
Like in your class, or like
No, in my grade.
you only had like 4 classes? Like what the fuck? I don't know. Your school is an exceptional. You went to an exceptional school, I guess. I don't fucking know. But the rest of us that went to fucking public school, like fucking normies, like we had like 2,000 people like at school.
So you're saying that we should force everybody to go back to the office because otherwise you're not going to be able to make friends anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Actually, like maybe unironically, maybe. I don't know.
I think you just want to go back to the office because of your own reasons of wanting to go back to the
No,
office.
no. I fucking hate people. I would never make friends anyway. But I'm saying in general, I think people need friends.
I agree.
I think
It's really not convenient going to the office.
It's really not. It fucking sucks. Like you lose 2 hours of your life, but maybe that 2 hours of your life is worth it per day.
we need Oasis. We need that one thing that everybody just decides this is going to be the one that we're going to go and do.
Maybe we could
all
like
together.
federally mandate like community service every day on Sundays or something. I don't fucking know.
What was that? What's that like metaverse thing where they have those like big head avatars?
Metaverse? It's just metaverse.
What is that metaverse thing? That's the fucking metaverse.
Well, I
I
mean,
don't know.
you're talking about community. You mentioned the fucking like deep, super niche rabbit holes that people go down. Like you find pretty solid communities in those rabbit holes.
I don't necessarily agree. I think that a lot of those communities are difficult to break into. That's the other thing. Is that like if you aren't put into a community, you aren't put into a group, and you're trying to break into a group, that's infinitely more difficult than trying to create your own group.
Yeah, like I could I really like fucking VTubers. Like I'm a
We're aware.
fucking idiot for it.
We're
But
aware.
like I don't have anyone to talk about with VTubers unless I want to just post online on some fucking Discord or some fucking subreddit and just do that Like
Man, those
I
dudes
could
are
just fucking
weirdos.
schizo post all day about it. Like that's what I have to do to make friends for fucking VTubers. All right.
If it's
But
just
then are you
if
actually
it's impor-
interacting? Or are you just posting?
I mean, like if I'm getting replies,
Does schizo posting work?
hopefully
Does
hopefully I
schizo
get
posting
replies
friends?
and I get repeated replies from repeated people and I can make friends that way.
Justin,
Like
if VTubers are that important, then we'll fucking watch VTubers for you.
no, dude, it's okay. I don't want you to watch VTubers.
Well, that's the point of this. That's the point of this podcast. Now we can come all the way back around to it. The point of this podcast is to force your friends to talk about your weird niche interests.
What's
So
a
next
VTuber?
time it's your turn, we could just talk about VTubers, and then we all have to sit here and talk with you about VTubers for an hour.
Yeah, but that'd be fucking mega cringe, all right?
Oh, that would be
I'm
so
aware
good.
of it.
I would
all right?
love it.
It's
I
fucking
would love
guilty
it.
pleasure.
VTubers are the streamers, Nate, that have like that like the facial tracking stuff, and they're just like a animated character, and they
Like
do
mutes?
No, like anime girls, but like they're like
It doesn't have to be anime
like
girls.
anime girls, but like live.
But yeah, essentially people just use like this avatar for themselves, and they are like it's a streamer, but they're instead of streaming with their own person, they're streaming with an avatar.
Hell, let's do the street. Let's do the podcast like that.
Sure.
Next, okay, yeah. Next,
VTuber avatars
next
are
week
like
we're talking about VTuber.
$3,000.
No, let's
No, we can get one
No,
way cheaper.
we'll have to. Yeah, we'll have to be them.
Yeah. Look, Justin, give us some options. Figure it out. We'll do that in a couple weeks, maybe a couple months.
Sure, dog. Yeah,
I'm
we'll do
down,
that.
dude. I'm down.
Yeah,
I'll,
alright,
I'll,
dude.
If,
I'll,
if
I'll
you don't
spend.
do it, my next topic is going to be VTubers, and we're all going to have to make our own VTuber.
Do I have to use a voice
Christ.
changer?
Not
No.
necessarily.
No,
can
you
if you
can use
want.
text to speech.
Text to speech.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I still think that like you can make good friends in your weird niche. Like, there's a huge car scene in Maryland. Like, if I wanted to, like, I just drive my car to a bunch of car meets, see the same people there over and over again, and just make friends. And then like they have like shops and stuff. Then I can start driving my car to their shops, having beers. Like, it's like, oh, what do you want to do on this car? What do you want to do on that car?
Yeah, for sure. If you have the social skills, like, and you have the effort within you to like get out of your comfort zone and go to things, it's good. Like you can do it within your niche. But I think that shit is actually fairly difficult if you don't have those things.
I agree, but I don't know. Then yes, you can go make friends and do the thing in your niche. Like, I don't get it.
Just go
What's the
work
problem then?
for
Just do the thing.
Go work for a video game company and create the algorithm that gets people to get put into server groups with other people that they've played with before. Just do it.
Fuck it. I'll do it myself.
Yeah,
Like, dude,
Yeah,
did
that
you
is
do
it. That's
like
what he
you-
said, right? He said, "Fuck it, I'll do it myself."
like you can go to Xanadu a bunch and go there for like a year, and then you make a bunch of friends there.
Yeah, I could. But then I have
Those
to do
people
that.
stink.
Yeah, you have to do that, but then it's like people, same interests, video games. Like,
A highlight of my week was that a sci-fi author that I liked a tweet that I wrote.
Dude, that's
That was in response to
Yeah,
Marsh's
dude.
tweets. Yeah.
That's big.
that's another way too. If you like, it's hard, but if you can get Twitter, like the blue check Twitter, not the one that you have to pay for, like the one where like you're a celebrity influencer or some shit.
You mean verified? Get verified?
That one? If you do that, then it would actually be pretty easy to like, you know, get your tweets getting more traction. Then you can like fucking make friends with all your VTubers.
Yeah,
Maybe I do need to just start posting on Twitter now.
yeah, maybe.
I
Dude.
need a definition here.
What for? What?
Schizo posting.
Just stream of consciousness, posting everything that you can think of. Turning your Twitter
just what I
feed
do
into-
normally.
Yeah, exactly. Basically,
No,
all the
I've
time.
seen your Twitter. You are not schizo posting, all right?
No.
No, he does
You
that.
need
on
to go
Discord.
way harder for that.
He does that to us.
Yeah, that's. There's some filter, but you guys don't get the filter.
Yeah, that's lucky us.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know any other ways to like get people to talk with you about your interest other than wearing it on your sleeve and
Yeah, for sure.
running around.
It's really fucking difficult. Yeah, 100%.
Face Rig is $15 on Steam, and you can use that to make your own VTuber.
You gotta fucking draw on live 2D. Like, there's so much shit, dude. It's really fucking involved.
It's going to be super easy.
Okay, sure.
Wait,
That's my dog.
Justin, if you were in line somewhere and some dude had like a backpack on with like Super Smash Brothers stickers and shit on it and like a GameCube controller hanging out, would you say something?
Fuck no.
Okay. If you were at a convention and you saw that, would you say something?
Fuck no.
If you're at a game room at a convention playing
Fuck
Smash,
no.
would you say so? Okay.
I would never talk to anyone for any reason. You don't understand. Like,
unless there's a filter between them that is the internet.
yeah.
Then maybe.
Buddy, you're talking to us.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Don't worry, buddy. We're your friends. That's all you need.
So what game are we all gonna start playing? I feel like if we play one of those games that has like online servers, but like have server caps of like 60 to 100 people, that we can do that. We just take it over.
What if
Be
one of
the-
the Final Fantasy VII remake games is actually an MMO? What if that's where they go with it?
None of us are playing Final Fantasy 14, so
Yeah, that's true. One game though, like apparently Minecraft, people get like super into it. Well, I mean, obviously people get super into it, but like people form like communities and shit in Minecraft.
That is fucking true. Like, I think Minecraft does it pretty well.
I also think that Minecraft communities aren't they all like crazy toxic?
Yes. But that's okay. Like, I would take toxic over nothing. Like, that is another trend with the internet. Like, I remember in fucking 2010, everyone was a fucking toxic asshole. Like, you would just get flamed to fuck in League of Legends. Or any other game you were playing, really. Like, I remember fucking flaming the shit out of people. Just randomly. And I think that was preferable to the absolute dead silence that we have now.
I don't know. I'm glad that people aren't just like yelling obscenities anymore.
But I think the funniest thing about how horrible League of Legends was just like the constant knowledge that regardless of like all the crazy ways people could think of to like be abusive towards each other in League of Legends, that there were people that were way better at it in Dota too.
Like, my game's not even good. I fucking suck at my game. And yet there are people who are like fucking 10 billion times better at like one other game. Like, I'm just shit. And I know I'm shit. But also, you're fucking shit. Like,
No, I mean, but there's people better at being toxic in Dota too.
oh, yeah. Oh, I see.
That's what I mean. There's like masters of like whatever technique is involved in like just being shitty to other people on the internet.
Just hardcore poison effect, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if everyone's toxic, it's fine. I think if everyone tries to not be toxic and there's a few people that are toxic, I think that's really bad.
Really?
Yeah. So I think like I don't know. I think it's like if we're all chilling and having a picnic and some guy fucking stampedes to your picnic, that's really shitty. But if we're all like running down a hill together, then that's not shitty because we're all like running and stampeding.
There's this one, the one image that I have associated with toxic people on the internet that I feel like has served me very, very well. Like ever since it happened, it was just like the perfect image. Because I was playing Halo, I think I was playing Halo 2, and Halo 2 had the voice chat across teams. And there was this guy that was just like screaming. He was like, ah! He's just like screaming. But then the thing is, Halo 2, when you die, it just cuts off your mic.
Yeah, and Halo 2 also had like proximity talk. So
Right.
like the dude would just be quiet, and then as he approaches, you just hear the screaming like volume increase.
And then you shoot them.
And then it's just like, and then it cuts off, and it's like maybe he's even saying something rude, like like fuck you, and then like just like, and then that silence of like somebody being bad then dying, like then the silence after that's something that I associate with that kind of trolling. But it's missing in League of Legends because you die and that's when you get on the keyboard. It's like the opposite.
Do you guys want to play Chivalry 2 full open mic? Then we can just run around
What
screaming.
game?
Chivalry 2.
Oh, Chivalry. Maybe. Yeah, I'd be down.
I remember playing Chivalry, and it was really fucking hard to like stab people with a sword.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, because it is really fucking hard to stab people with a sword.
Legitimately a very difficult game.
How about Mountain Blade?
Is that multiplayer?
Yeah, it's
so.
multiplayer.
I actually played a lot out of like the original Mountain Blade, but I think they made that like Mountain Musket one. or
Isn't
something.
the new Chivalry just Mordhau?
Isn't Mordhau just old Chivalry 2?
Is it? I don't fucking know. I don't
What's
know
the difference
anymore.
between Chivalry and Mordhau?
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea.
Well, Chivalry 2 is on sale right now. I just bought it.
Interesting. I didn't know there was Chivalry 2.
I think it just came out recently.
Oh, sick.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe you just need to go into more multiplayer spaces, open mic'd, just start talking to people
Yeah, just shitting on people. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah.
until they yell back at you, and then you go, "Hey, you want to be friends?"
Yeah,
So-
dude.
So playing PUBG, like, goddamn, dude, PUBG is such a fucking hard game. It's crazy how hard that game is, but
Trash game for trash people.
it's really fucking hard, man. Trash or not, it's really fucking hard. And it's fairly important to communicate, like when you're in a firefight. So if you get into like a pub, most people still don't use their mic, but there's a good amount of people that do. And I don't know, like it's weird. Sometimes like you get into a game and someone's like, "All right, guys, where do you want to go?" Fucking dead silence. Dead silence. No one is like, "All right, here we go." They have to use like emotes and shit to like point at stuff. Really fucking frustrating. But then sometimes everyone starts fucking talking to each other, and it's great. And there is like a queue system to like queue again with them. But most people, like, as soon as they die, they don't spectate or stay in the game. They just fucking leave to go to another one. I think that's partly a PUBG problem because the queues take so long, but I don't really know where I was going with this other than people don't talk in
But
games.
it's like emerging community stuff.
Yeah, I would agree. Like in Halo 2, fucking everyone talked to each other all the time, just shitting on each other relentlessly.
Right.
And I think that for the most part, that was preferable to what we have now, which is the dead silence, where you're like, "Where we're dropping, boys," and then followed by nothing. Like,
Yeah, just absolute silence.
Yep.
Because most people just don't want to talk.
yeah,
Maybe-
like, I would prefer an FU in word to the absolute silence.
I'm on the fence. I think there's some people that actually did ruin shit.
Yeah, I think that the people yelling obscenities definitely have made it a lot harder because I think the problem we find ourselves in is that there's a huge swath of the online community now that feels like they can't speak up. They can't talk because of that vocal minority that's yelling at every single person that tries to talk. I'm sure they've had instances in the past where they've tried to talk and have been shouted to the point of not wanting to talk anymore. Shamed into it.
I mean,
So-
I generally agree, but I still think if everyone's yelling, I think that's fine. But if like everyone's mostly talking civilly, and like there's 2 or 3 people yelling, that's very bad.
So one thing that I did realize. So there was a point in my life where I thought that everybody had to go through this experience where people on the internet are going to be shitty, and you like learn to ignore them. You want to deal with it. It doesn't bother you anymore, and then you're past it. And but the truth is, like the people that are nasty on the internet, like they'll like dial it up if they feel like they have an in, and basically what ends up happening is that if there's anything that makes you more of a target, your experience is going to be exponentially worse. And like
That's true.
And like
And you're telling people that they should just. I don't know if that's the right answer to just be like, just ignore it. Just try your best
Right.
to ignor it. It's like, how about they try their best to not be.
Yeah,
Piece
if you
of
were
shit.
a girl online in 2010, your life was hell. It was mega shit.
Hey, buddy, even today it's pretty fucking bad. People are
Yeah.
still pretty shitty.
that's what I realized. It's just like I learned to do with people being like shitty, but it just somehow they cranked it up so much whenever they saw a girl, and that, like I don't know what was happening there, but
Yeah, being a minority or a woman on the internet, awful. Absolutely fucking awful.
it's the same people that are being awful to everybody, but they just didn't care nearly as much about being awful to they were like,
It's an easier in to be awful to people that are different than you because then you just make fun of them for the difference.
There's a handhold for the awfulness. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what it's like with me. It's like I play the game, I'd kill them, and they'd be like kind of flailing at me to get a handhold, and then I couldn't do anything, and oh well. But like, if they feel like they've got something, they'll just run with it. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. Be nice. Be fucking nice. Be nice on the internet. Just be nice to people.
be nice, but also fucking talk. Don't be afraid to fucking shit on people a little bit.
Be nice, yeah. Also, you don't have to just always say negative things. You can also say positive things. What if people just like said, "Hey, good job" more often? What if that's the interaction that they had? Oh, dude, nice.
There was I feel like there was a good culture of, there was like a nice shot a culture in Halo 2, right? I think there was.
Yeah. Like I remember being like, "Fuck you, asshole. That was a really fucking good shot. I don't know how you did that shit." Like those felt the best. Those were amazing.
You probably blamed it on the lag, Justin.
Huh?
You probably blamed it on the lag.
Oh, probably. But
I think you are just I
might be a psycho. I don't know.
Sadist, and is that the one that wants to be punished? I think that's it. I think you just want people to yell at you.
You want to punish other people.
Okay, you're just a
when
masochist.
you like it. I don't know. Like, there's some level of me that's like, if someone's like, "Oh, nice shirt, dude," I fucking hate it. It feels so fucking fake. Like, I need that little bit of like.
If somebody's not mean, then they're not being real.
That says it.
Yeah, a little
like,
bit.
Nice, like that's.
I fully admit that I might just be a fucking psycho in that way.
You're the toxic person.
Yeah, possibly. I don't fucking know.
I hate that shit. I hate. Oh man, I just get so done. Like that drains me. That kind of talk drains me so much that I'm like, all right, I'll see you later. Like I'm not gonna sit around for this.
Nice shot, you asshole. Drains you. That's the draining talk.
Just the toxic behavior in general. Of like, it's really hard. It's already hard to get a group of people together to like play something and to enjoy playing something together. I think it's even harder when someone makes it a point to be toxic during that time. Yeah, that's just draining. But yeah, maybe it is preferable to just complete silence. I'm going to try and start injecting toxic positivity into people's lives.
I mean,
Yeah, dog.
Hey, you're doing a really fucking great job. All right.
I think part of the silence, though, is actually, we'll go back to some of like the other shit we talked about, like streaming. Like a lot of people now just want to do like 6 things at once. So they just want to like farm shit in WoW with the stream open, watching something, like listening to a podcast and watching fucking VTubers all at the same time. And I guess like they're the mental bandwidth of someone like doing all that shit, they don't want to talk to anyone. Or actually something else we haven't talked about, speaking of VTubers, is maybe like weird parasocial relationships with like online personas.
Yeah, I mean that's a big issue. I think actually.
Arguably, it's a good source of community, though.
Wait, say that again?
Just like streamers communities, it's like a natural place.
Yeah,
to, like,
I mean,
have a
that's-
community.
I think that's definitely true. Is that like even though there is a parasocial relationship, those people are still creating a community space for other people. So even if the relationship you have with the tuber is parasocial, you still might create actual social relationships with the other people who enjoy that person.
That's true. That's true. Which is obviously a good thing, but I think I don't know. I think most people. Actually no. Never mind. Someone else.
No. I think I actually agree with you. Like, I think having that illusion of having a friendship with someone who doesn't know who you are can affect you negatively because it's going to prevent you from creating actual social interactions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. No. I got your back.
Thank you for not calling me an asshole.
Shut up, you fucking idiot! You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of agree with that. I think I don't know if that's on the if that problem is on the side of the VTuber who's allowing that relationship, or if it's on the side of the person who decides to forego their other actual like real world relationships in order to pursue a perceived relationship with a celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Don't do that. Don't fucking do that. Don't do that. How about that? Just don't do that. Like, don't be that person.
Wait. The streamer or the streamee?
the streamee, the person who's watching the stream and ignoring their own real life relationships in order to try and pursue one with a celebrity. Don't do that.
I think it's more subtle than like, I want to pursue a relationship with this person. I'm going to watch all their fucking content and give them like fucking 5,000 super chats. Like, I don't think
that's a problem. But when you aren't able to feed your kids because you're doing that, or you're not able to like make friends with other people that are your peers because you're spending too much time doing this, then it's a problem. It's like the same with drugs.
Well, okay, all right. I think there's like some subtle difference between like not feeding your kids and I'm not checking in with my friends enough. Like, yeah, I think there's a big gap between those two. I think it can be hard to realize, I should actually interact with my friends a little more, because that can creep up on you. Like, you just don't chat to people like every few days or something. You just start like losing that grip, and then by the time you realize it, like it can be kind of difficult to like wake up and be like, oh shit, I haven't talked to this person in like a fucking month. Now it's really fucking hard to talk to them again because I don't know who they are.
So why is it easier to talk to the streamer than it is to talk to the
It's not even talking.
friend?
It's being talked at. And you like,
people just have skills at making it feel easy. It's like the people that are good at marketing. It's like that's
charisma.
I think
It's charisma. It's just charisma, and the people.
It's just making people feel good.
Yeah,
for you talking to them.
The people who might lack charisma, not like intelligence or looking good or anything, just that natural like energy to draw someone in. People who lack that like might be mystified by it, and they just like, it's like a moth to a flame when they're watching those streamers.
Yeah, it simulates social interaction. So it doesn't stimulate like that whatever tingle in your brain you get from like loneliness. It might just be just enough social interaction to keep you satisfied so that you don't pursue other avenues, like on a subconscious level.
Okay, I'll start streaming more often for you guys, and you guys can hang out in my chat room. And then I can be the streamer that you have a parasocial relationship with.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Monetize me, bro.
That is a good point. There's a whole scale of like streamers of different sizes, right? So it's not actually always a parasocial relationship, but it's like everybody watches the biggest streamers though, so it usually is. But
I think it's still a parasocial relationship. Maybe on some level you recognize some names in chat, but if you're the streamer, you're always talking to chat. You're not talking to an individual. Like you're just talking to like maybe on some level
you might pull out a specific comment, but in general, yes, you're talking to chat.
You're talking to chat. Even if an individual asks you, if you're a large enough streamer, you're talking to chat.
I think I prefer the smaller streamers because of that exact feeling. It feels like a sense of community, and you start to recognize individual people. Like streamers that stream for like 300 to 400 people, sweet spot right there. Like perfect.
Yeah, sounds about right.
But I don't know. Maybe that's it. Just find a community to latch onto that is easy to get into.
I don't know. I think. Well, yes, I agree with you, Christopher. But if you really like your thing, there's at least a million other people, if you live in the U.S., that like your thing. Just find them and hang out.
But what if the reason why you like that thing is different than the reason why they like that thing?
Well, then you cut off their feet and then find someone else.
No, fucking fight about it with them and make friends. I don't know.
Or that call them an asshole, and then if they're Justin, they'll be your best friend.
I think the takeaway from this is that you just need to post more in VTuber Discords.
Maybe.
I mean,
you could send us all the really cringy shit.
No, I'm good.
Well, all I'm hearing from this, Justin, is this like a cry for help?
No, dude. No, dude. I don't need friends. I'm good.
I need friends.
I'm highly offended by that comment, Justin.
You know what I mean, dude? Like, no, I'm fine. I promise.
Wow, Allan, way to bring it down.
Damn, dog.
That's the end of the podcast. That's it. It's over, folks.
I don't understand what a VTuber is.
I mean, like, we've been at this for like 2 hours. For Probably getting close to wrap
Yeah,
time.
we need to start putting a hard cap on that 45 minutes to an hour thing.
Sure.
Alan, you got to keep track of time from now on.
Okay. Well, it's 1 hour 50. Any final thoughts, gentlemen? Go around the room.
Yeah. Internet, better or worse overall?
Better.
Definitely better.
I need a time frame. For
Last 5 years.
worse.
Over the last 5 years?
Last 5 years.
Still better.
Still
More
better.
access is more better.
Okay. Alan?
I would say that's generally true. I can't imagine like a point where the internet gets worse until we get to like really bad net neutrality stuff or like really like, I don't know, portioned off parts of the internet. I think that
There
that's when
was
the
there was a
internet goes
chance
worse.
for it to get real bad there for a while, right?
Yeah, we could have ended up with a fucking with the wall guard and shit that we had on cell phones for a while.
Yeah.
I'm glad that capitalism turned it around and did better because people demanded it. But either way,
I mean, even with all like the Twitter shit, the Facebook shit, like all the shit that's like happening, that is happening, and it's happening with the vehicle of the internet. I still think the internet as a whole has generally been getting better and better, year over year.
sure. I'm mixed. Like it's like I think it's 51% better, 49% worse. But
I think it's like the things that are bad are just like compounding and like just doing more and more damage though. Like
yeah.
That's
I
like-
think the trend line was like here's like 2010, here's 2015, here's 2018, here's 2022. Like so like just almost a flat line.
We're flatting out.
Yeah. It could go down, it could go up.
Sure.
But it's definitely not continually go exponential up.
Be nicer on the internet. Be nice to people. Talk to people. Don't be so timid.
Talk to people. Don't be afraid of a little bit of conflict.
Sure.
Yeah. I definitely need to take that one to heart.
Yeah, fuck people.
Fuck you.
All right, then you want to sign us off, Justin?
Sure, dog. So this has been the ALCast. I'm Justin.
Nathan.
I'm Chris.
Alan?
And we'll see you guys later. Have a blessed night. Sure. Also, fuck you.
Blessings be to you.
Fuck you, viewer.
Take care, everyone. Fuck you, the viewer. See ya.
See you guys.